Hey everybody, welcome to the Waldock Way. I'm Jessica. Today's video is going to be January's morning basket. My theme for the month of January is winter, so we'll be doing all things winter and snow, ice, cold, polar region, hibernation, animals in the cold, adaptations, snowflakes, all of those kinds of things is what you're going to be seeing in January's morning basket. Now, we do live in Florida, so we are living vicariously through this basket because obviously we will not be getting or seeing any snow more than likely this winter. But that's not going to discourage us. Without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and turn you around and show you all the goodies in our basket. Before I show you what all is in my morning basket, I wanted to show you a few things that I have for her to do while we are reading through some of the things in the morning basket. So the first thing I have is a melty snowman. This was from the Target Dollar Spot. It contains the putty and the 7 snowman pieces. And then I have these Q-tip printables. They are from Play-Doh to Play-Doh, and I have some Q-tips in here as well as the printables so that she can make her own little snowflakes using them. And then I also have some pattern block mats from Pre-Kinders, and they are all snowflakes. So there are many different options. And then one of the last things I have that I don't have out is going to be a sensory bin. I have some of the instant snow that comes in a jar, and I'll be making her a snow sensory bin and adding some polar animals to it. So that is something else I will be doing. Now for January, because I needed something to kind of hold my hand and something that required very little planning from me, I will be using the Morning Time plans from Pam Barnhill for winter. I have the annual Morning Time subscription plan, and so I thought this would be a great time to use these so I didn't have to rack my brain too much. So if you're not familiar with these, what is included is prayer, memorization, poetry, music appreciation, picture study, nature study, art tutorials, math, and then reading suggestions. It gives you all the needed resources and supplies that you're going to be needing, and then it also gives you a printable book list. Now, we will probably be using some of the picture books from here. However, I had already chosen my read-alouds for the month, so we will not be using the read-alouds that she suggests. But other than that, we will be using most everything out of here. So you have the printable poems and prayers. And there are quite a few. And then you have 2 different options. So one option is where it tells you that week 1, day 1, this is what you do. They also include a blank template in case you want to try to take all of the information and make it to your own. Or they include it in a loop schedule, which is what we'll be using. So it tells you that daily you do your prayer and your memorization, and then it gives you all of your loop subjects. This is what we'll be doing because we will probably get through 3 or 4 of the loop subjects a day since this is already planned out, and that way we will get through this in a month. So that is the way we will be doing it. Now, while that does have prayer in it, as well as some Bible memorization. When we were using the Jesus Storybook Bible for the Advent month that we did in December, my daughter said she missed reading this every day. So I've added this to our morning basket so that we can go back to reading a story a day. And we will also still be continuing our question and answer a day for kids because we have just about completed a year and we have 2 more years to go. For logic, I have added in the Spot It Frozen. Now this actually happens to be the alphabet Frozen, but the logic is still there and it still has quite a few of the Frozen characters as well. And then the books that I picked out for read-alouds, for Emily to read aloud to me, is Winter Snow Fun. And then the book that goes along with our Passport to Adventures curriculum is Polar Bears Past Bedtime. And then our winter read aloud book, we have Mr. Popper's Penguins. For language arts, I have Olaf's Frozen Adventure Mad Libs. And then I have the Roll a Winter Story. So there is a dice in here somewhere, and we will use that to roll and then pick our characters, setting, and problem. And I write for her. So you can see here's a fall story. So I write the character, setting, and problem. She tells me a short story, and then she illustrates it. So that is what we are doing in her composition notebook. Now, math is included in the Your Morning Time plans, but we will also be playing and enjoying Sleeping Snowmen, which is a game that I created. It is very similar in gameplay to Sleeping Queens, which, if you're familiar with, means that you can get a little bit of extra math practice in. So for instance, let's see here. If you had, there we go. If this was what was in your hand, you want to try to get the numbers out of your hand so you can get specialty cards. So I could play 1 plus 2 equals 3 and get them out of my hand, which means that you're getting math practice in while playing the game. Now, I do have a couple of the target erasers in here because sometimes Emily asks for them to check her math facts because she wants to make sure she's right before she discards. Now, there is also nature study in the morning time plans, but because we have enjoyed it so much, we will be continuing on with exploring nature with children. And I also printed out these cards, which I thought would be really fun to introduce Emily to. So they're the different types of dormancy, and then different animals and how they adapt to the cold weather. So whether they hibernate or whether they die off, or how they adapt, how they live through it or don't live through it, what they do in the extreme weather. So I thought that would be a fun thing to introduce her to what some different animals do. Then the last thing in my basket is the Year Full of Stories, 52 Folktales and Legends from Around the World. This is what we'll be using for geography and a little bit of history because it's folktales. So January has a few stories about winter and cold and New Year's, and then the Chinese New Year's as well. So the only thing that is not in my basket, and it is only because I haven't received it in the mail yet, is Rooted Childhood's January collection. It will probably be in, I'm sure, the day after I film this, but we always include that because it has poetry, and it also has some finger plays and songs and handicrafts. And so those are some things that we do during our morning basket time as well. I will also be doing a video of all of our winter picture books, so make sure you stay tuned, subscribe, and hit that little bell icon so you don't miss those, because that is something else that we will be doing during our morning time as well.